Hello and welcome back to part 3 of my pumpkin spice tallow series. You've already watched me infuse tallow with pumpkin spices and then make a beautiful tallow whip. Then you watched me make a pumpkin spice tallow soap. And if you missed those recipes, check out the description box below. I will link them there. Today we are going to be making a pumpkin spice tallow lip balm as well as a pumpkin spice tallow sugar scrub. Both of these recipes are perfect for the fall season. They are perfect for gifting or if you just need a little bit of self-care. So let's get started with the recipe. To start out with our lip balm, we are going to need our infused tallow. For both of these recipes, you can just infuse the whole recipe itself, but I find it a little bit simpler to just infuse the tallow one time and then be able to use it across multiple recipes. You do need a kitchen scale, especially for the lip balm, as the lip balm is going to be making such a small amount. It will fill 3 of these tubes. I will put a link in the description box to these tubes as well. They have been amazing. I've played around with a bunch of different ratios of tallow to carrier oil to beeswax, and this is the ratio that I landed on. I have had a few people say that they prefer just a tallow base. However, I find that it pulls too much. I really like a soft glide-on lip chap. So if you live in a warmer climate, you might want to decrease the amount of carrier oil. But honestly, this base, perfection. So we're gonna place our bowl on the scale, zeroing it out. And again, this is going to be very, very small. So we're adding 15 grams of tallow to the bowl and then 5 grams of a carrier oil. You want a carrier oil that's going to be liquid at room temperature, so not something like cocoa butter or coconut oil. You could use castor or jojoba, sweet almond, anything that you prefer. I just always have olive oil on hand. And then we need 2.5 grams of beeswax. If you can buy the beeswax pellets, they make things a little bit easier. And then this is going onto our double boiler. Whenever you're using a double boiler, ensure that there's always water at the base. And you're going to be doing it low and slow. You do not want any moisture getting into here, otherwise your tallow can go rancid quite quickly. While this is melting down, let's go work on our sugar scrub. For the sugar scrub, we're going to be using equal parts tallow and equal parts liquid carrier oil. I'm just going to make a small batch today, but this is definitely scalable. So use as much or as little as you want. I'm going to be doing 50 grams of tallow, which is almost exactly what I've got left, which is amazing. Zero out your scale. And then another 50 grams. This time it's of your carrier oil. We're going to be using olive. And this goes onto our double boiler. This recipe is so easy, which makes it perfect for beginners. Give your lip balm a little bit of a mix. And when it's all melted, we'll gently take it off the heat with some oven mitts. I'm going to swap in my sugar scrub base. And again, you do not want water to get into your base. Give it a little mix to help it along every once in a while. And these little flecks are just from our infusion. If they bother you, you can run this through a very fine cheesecloth, but I actually really love the look. So it's almost all melted. We're going to turn the heat off and take this off the heat. It's going straight into the fridge to harden up so we can whip it up. When it comes to making lip balm, I am not a master pourer. You can buy one of those things that clips onto your lip balm tube, but I am not making a big enough batch today. So we're just going to free pour here. I'm going to place a paper towel down because I don't want it to get all over. We're going to grab 3 lip chap tubes because that is how much this recipe will fill. But I do have a funnel that fits pretty well perfectly inside here. So we're just going to get that ready. This is also the part where you can add some essential oils if you didn't use infused. Typically cinnamon leaf essential oil is what we would be using for any skincare. But it can also be very harsh on sensitive skin. So if you have sensitive skin, definitely leave it out. but it can also be a little bit of a lip plumper. So I think that that is kind of a fun way to use it. I'm going to try and show you from this angle, but we'll do our best here. And you can see I slightly over poured it. You want to do that because it will start caving in while it cools. This one I didn't quite pour enough. So we add a little bit more. If you feel very proficient, you can also try free pouring just like so. Like I said, overfill it just slightly. We're gonna let these cool till they harden, and then we will come back and show you the final product. We have allowed our oils to completely solidify, and then we're gonna add some cinnamon leaf essential oil, no more than 0.5 of the total weight of these oils. So you shouldn't need more than a couple drops. If you have sensitive skin, this may not be the recipe for you because some of these spices can be a little bit irritating if you do. Definitely steer clear of any cinnamon essential oils, and you can just use plain tallow for this recipe. Either way, the sugar scrub works so well. So we're just going to whip this up until it is light and fluffy. And then back onto the kitchen scale it goes. Zero it out again, and we're going to be adding 1 full part of sugar. So we used 50 grams of each oil. So we're going to be using 100 grams of sugar. You can use brown sugar or white sugar. I just feel like the brown sugar gives such cozy fall vibes. Then we're gonna add another 100 grams of sugar and then mix it up again. I'm only using 1 beater because I find it is such a pain to clean these beaters, but you kind of need them to make this beautiful texture. So it should be this texture, kind of like wet sand or like kinetic sand if you've ever played with that. If you don't add enough sugar, the oils can separate and then it ends up being like a greasy mess, and you don't want that. Now, depending on the time of year that you make this, depending how hot your house is, you may need to add some extra sugar. I can see here that the oils are already starting to separate a little bit. So once I get into the humidity of the shower, it is probably going to start separating. So I'm gonna add a little bit more sugar to this. Now we're at 1 part tallow, 1 part olive oil, and 2.5 parts of sugar. This looks beautiful and it smells just like pumpkin spice. Now we'll place it in a container. And you are ready to use it. So these are completely solid now. And we can just pop the lids on and then give them a little bit of a wipe. And then you can put a label on and you are ready to gift or use. Here is the final sugar scrub. It is so pretty. It smells like fall and I cannot wait to use it. To use a sugar scrub, you want to make sure that none of this gets wet because again, it's going to go rancid way faster. So you just have a dedicated shower spoon that you take with you, or you can put a little bit onto the lid of your container and then take that into the shower with you. So this never comes into the shower. Otherwise it will go goopy and it'll go liquid. It is just not a good time. And this is the lip balm. It is so perfect. It smells amazing and it just glides on. This is the best lip balm recipe that I've ever had. It took a long time to come up with it, but I think it is perfected. If you are having troubles with your tallow and rendering it down, definitely check out my free guide down below. It talks about 5 different mistakes that people make when they're rendering their tallow and ways that they can correct it. I really hope that it's helpful for you. If there are ever any recipes that you'd like to see, post them down below in the comments. I love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you more than you know. Take care.